everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in for another episode. So I recently was going back through my list of video suggestions. For those of you that don't know this, when you provide me with a video suggestion, say in the comment section, I write it down, I keep a list in my phone. Right now that list is roughly 1,300 video suggestions. A lot of those topics I've covered, a lot of them I haven't covered. Don't know when I'll get to them, but it provides me with a lot of good ideas for content, so I keep that list. And one of those comments having to do with where you should be spending your money in the fishing industry has come up a ton of different times. And I went back and looked through my over 1,000 videos that I've done, and I haven't done a video on this, which was surprising to me because I thought I had, which is one of the reasons why I have not done this video. So the question that I get all of the time from viewers is, if I've got a few $100, should I be putting that money into a better reel, or should I be putting that money into a better rod? And this is a question that I think all of us deal with. Unless you've pretty much got unlimited money, it's one of those things that's a hard question to answer for a lot of people, because we do have rods that we love and we've got reels that we love. But I personally have a pretty strong feeling on this. You guys know I'm a custom rod builder. I build all my rods. This is the MHX CB906, one of my favorites, but there's a problem with it too. The problem with it is this rod is a blended rod. So it's a great rod for throwing things like a lipless crankbait. It's good for throwing maybe some square bill crankbaits. I can throw a vibrating jig on it. I don't want to throw too many other things on it because it's a very specialized rod. So that really leads me into why I think you should be spending your money on a high dollar reel, or a better quality reel, than, say, putting it into the rod. The reel to me is more important. And there's several reasons for that. The first, to counter what I just said about the rod, reels for the most part are not as specific. So I could take this Abu Garcia Xenon, this is an X. I could take this and put this onto pretty much any bait cast rod that I have. I can use it to fish lipless crankbaits. I can flip with it. I can do pretty much everything I want with a bait casting rod. Maybe if I get into the area where I want to take it and fish some big, heavy, musky gear on it, it might not be the right reel for that. But when you're talking about bass fishing with a bait caster, I can take this Xenon X and put it on almost any rod. So the versatility of your reel is much better than your rods for the most part. So that's one reason. Next up, one of the most important things about fishing, or one of the biggest keys to successful fishing, is putting your bait in the right place. Now, to me, both the rod and the reel play a huge part in casting accuracy. But if your reel is not a good, smooth reel, you're probably going to have a worse casting accuracy, and you probably won't be able to pitch or skip with it and get your bait into some of those hard to hit areas. That is a huge key in successful fishing, putting your bait where the fish live. And the reel is a huge part of that. Yes, your rod is a big factor as well. Depending on the speed of the rod, the length of the rod, your casting accuracy may get better or worse. But to me, if you give me a reel that won't let me skip, it doesn't matter what rod I'm using. So I feel like the reel is more important in that. Obviously, the rod and reel combo put together is extremely important. But again, we're talking about, if you had the one place to put your money, I'm going to put it in the reel because of the casting accuracy. So a whole nother aspect to that then comes down to your speed and control of your baits. So if I'm fishing, say, a lipless, and I want to be able to retrieve that bait extremely fast, retrieve it really slow, and drag it on the bottom, the reel is what gives me that control. The rod is the tool that allows me to kind of feel the bottom, or feel where I'm at in the water column, but I would rather make sure that I can control my bait with the reel versus the rod. So again, from that standpoint, I think there's more value into the reel. And then the last part comes down to fighting fish. So once you've got the fish on, You've got the rod that's going to help you battle that fish, and you've got your reel, which is going to help you bring the line in. But more importantly, allows you to have the ability to let drag go out and let that fish pull line. To me, your reel is the biggest part of fighting a fish, whether it's a spinning reel or a bait casting reel. You want something that's got a dependable, reliable drag, because that's going to be what prevents you from potentially losing that fish or breaking the line and letting that fish get away. So overall, if I'm putting my money into only one area, I'm going to probably put it into a higher dollar reel, because this is going to impact more areas of the whole process of fishing. Everything from battling the fish, making the cast, all of that, helping my bait perform better. I believe the reel has more impact. Now, I know some of you out there are probably going to argue with me over this, but it really comes down to, if I've got one, I'm going to probably choose a better reel, because I think that improves my overall fishing performance better than a rod. It's much harder to find a rod that is has that's as versatile, say, as a reel, and the rod is usually much more specialized towards the bait that you're using. So I personally recommend starting off with a couple of good reels, and then at that point, as you get better at fishing, as you learn what baits you prefer to use, you can start to specialize your rods based on the baits that you're choosing. But those reels will most likely work on all of those rods. And the same goes for spinning rods. Bait casting and spinning, I feel the same way about both. The reels generally are bigger impact. Now, having said that, I will say that the baitcaster has more impact on your performance overall. The spinning reels aren't as important, because the way they function are a little bit different. But the drag generally on a spinning reel is more important than a bait casting reel. So from that standpoint, it kind of levels itself off. And I feel the same way about the reels deserving your look first, and then going to rods at that point. So that's where I'm at. I'm sure a bunch of you will disagree with me in the comment section. That is totally fine. I'm just answering the questions that I get from the viewers out there, and this is how I feel about it. But let me know regardless in the comment section. I'd love to do a little bit of a poll. Do you think the reel is more important, or do you think the rod is more important? Anyways, thanks for watching. I appreciate all of you. If you enjoyed today's video, hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And I'm hearing Hank behind the door tell me the rod is more important. So he disagrees already with me. Anyway, stay tuned. New video coming out tomorrow.